Alright, this is my third time recording this video because of some technical issues that were just super dumb and easy to fix. As an IT guy, I'm kind of embarrassed that I missed it. Like, why is there an echo? But yeah, the last couple videos were an echo, and thank you to my followers to say, well, there's an echo here. Like, I'm listening to two people. No! Okay, I get it. I get it. So let me tell you where I've been for the past year. And maybe you can have some perspective as to my heart for people. So, about a year ago, I went through something pretty traumatic. And I got out of a really bad situation. And it wasn't like bad where I thought I was under threat, like physically, but it was a really toxic situation involving family. And I think we're all better off to be separated. But that's a whole different animal. But I lost somebody extremely important to me. Sorry, my nose is itching. It's pollen season. I lost somebody very important to me, and I basically suffered a mental breakdown. Not a breakdown, I broke. I have been through about 4.5, 5 years of just non-stop struggle. Like fighting uphill battles and just being kicked right when I'm almost at the top of each one. I had an Uber program and I was networking with Uber and I had a book written and all that other good stuff when I was doing rideshare. And I mean, that fell to the wind because of a perfect storm of events. But now, in the past year, I've spent that time recovering. I haven't known a single year of peace since my teenage years. Not a single one. And this last year, I actually had peace and I've spent all of it recovering. But I Babe Ruth that mother. I told myself walking into it that I was going to fix every trauma and the poor behavior that led to something pretty traumatic to me. And you know, it's a self-conscious, toxic masculinity thing, if you will, that I never shared my emotions, so everything stayed inside, and that it was a relationship that ended. 3.5 years of nothing but love. The love was very real on both sides. And in order to get out of a toxic situation, I basically had to obsess, but in obsessing about getting out, if I gave anything less than what I gave, it wouldn't have worked. And I'm still kind of impressed that it actually did. And I'm in a better situation. But I was building from absolutely nothing. Living on my mother's couch, toxic environment. And there were times when it got dark. True story. And I didn't always convey that to the significant other, so she didn't know. She didn't know how bad it was getting. And as I'm ignoring her, she just feels like she's being neglected. So, in a way, I feel like I've sinned. Because she didn't deserve to go through a breakup. And afterwards, like after the breakup happened, I read every text and anybody that knows me knows I don't cry about stuff. I fought rounds on broken feet. I have had many broken bones in my life. I've broken this hand 5 times, this hand 3. And I own every bit of them. In fact, my lament is that I don't have more scars, but my body healed. But yeah, I've definitely earned every scar I have. Every broken bone, everything. But I broke. Like, I so broke. I lost 50 pounds. No, 60 pounds. 60. By the end of it, it was 60. And then I gained 10 back in muscle. Because I finally started taking my life seriously. I was in a dark place. And I almost ended up going to the hospital for being malnourished and just starving myself. And anybody that knows me knows that I'm a fighter. I've had many, many people call me the most driven person they've ever met. But this was by far, this was one of the only 2 times I've ever openly cried about something. First time my grandmother died. She was the one that raised me. So between that, being jobless, and having to start from scratch, after getting out of a toxic situation that was just every investment I made was it went nowhere because of the situation. That's a very hard thing to accept. So I'm fighting an uphill battle for somebody that isn't here anymore. And what I did as part of my therapy, and this video is going to probably go to like 10 minutes, okay? So bear with me, because there's value to this. I said I would take about a year to basically get over the trauma that I've gone through my entire life, because obviously there was more going on, and I didn't realize how deep the trauma ran until I started solving it. There were a few times I should have gone to the hospital for injuries, for almost injuries, because my way of taking on anything I'm scared of is just face it head on. Either you win or you lose, and so far I've won. For the most part. But battles don't matter if you lose the war. And it felt like I lost the war. After 17 years of fighting, just about. More than half my life. And that's kind of sad. But when it comes to autistic individuals, you'll find that's very common. And then during my healing process, I was reaching out for anybody, anything that could help. And then I find this community on TikTok of autistic individuals, ADHD individuals that came out that are giving advice and all of that. It's like, yeah, I totally relate to that. And of course, then the pastor / teacher and me came out. Now I think I've got thousands of videos on TikTok now. Seriously, over the past year. And they're good videos. Some make you laugh. Some will be like, whoa, good looking. And some show you my true heart. But this past year, I decided that with TikTok, after finding that community, that, you know what? I'm going to document my recovery. So if you start from a year ago, specifically January of last year, not this year, but last year, you'll find my journey. All of the challenges, all of the times that I broke, and all the times I tried to climb my way back. You'll find all of it there. The reason I did it is so that somebody else going through similar doesn't have to feel alone doing so. And I've grown. I've also used that as a benchmark. So every week, every Saturday, I will go back, review my videos, review my behavior journal and all of that, and see, okay, am I making progress? Am I backsliding? I mean, I was very avid about this. I was very dedicated to get over a lifetime of trauma in 1 year. And it occurred to me just today, when I was talking about ego death and all of that, you don't start conquering your ego to become a better, less selfish person, or more selfless person, unless you're in a safe environment. I got over the trauma, most of the trauma, in a year. So yeah, I Babe Ruth the heck out of that. To all my psychology friends out there. And I wrote a book about it, because that was part of my journaling, and then it just turned into a story, and then the story read like a novel, and every story is true, and I have evidence to back every one of them. So I'm growing a following so that I can put this book out there to help guide people like me going through all sorts of crazy situations. Like, I've been threatened by a small-time drug lord. Not joking, while maneuvering my way into politics in Southside Chicago, where I'm the piece of salt in a pepper shaker. This is all true. I've lived in multiple actual ghettos and food deserts. I've been around. I've also dined with billionaires. In fact, I'm pretty sure one billionaire was a client of mine. That was business consulting. There's so much that went on, and it's a wonderful story. It will make you cry. It'll make you say, whoa. And it'll make you proud afterwards. It gives regular folks an inside look into what it is to be autistic, and it gives autistic and ADHD people an example either to follow or not follow. So, I always say that I'm a walking Napoleon Dynamite with a diehard complex, and I lived up to it. It reads like a novel. A person's life story reads like a novel, written at the age of 35. Picture that one. But no, I've seriously had Hollywood moments in my life, and I don't regret them. I have very few regrets. So yeah, 10 minutes and 45 seconds. Y'all take care. Thanks for listening to me. This is where I've been, where I'm going.